This episode of Bouts Talking Bouts is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Winning parlays, if you're looking for them in BKFC, you got to be checking out BK Bet Shark. Here's the thing, $50 buys, you get a personalized bet slip. It's based on your own budget. You can be flexible. It is what works for you. And this guy's got the receipts. You can check out all the winning tickets. You can peep them, and you can do so at Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Check him out on Instagram and get with it. Got them personalized betting slips going on, $50 buys. All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Radio, very excited to be talking to an individual set to knuckle up and toe the line at BKFC 53, which transpires on November 3rd. And we have Diego Romo stepping in there against Ravon Baxter, and great having Ravon on the show for the first time. How's your day going there, man? You having a solid one?
Yeah, my day is pretty good, man. Just woke up with the kiddies, cooking breakfast. Couldn't ask for a better morning.
Yeah, it seems like a great way to start the day. Are they kind of at an age where they kind of realize what, dad gets up to for a living, or maybe not quite at this point?
Oh, yeah, my oldest son, man, he loves watching, he's been to, all my fights. He's watched every one. He loves watching them on TV when I'm in the BKFC, and he loves the fact that I'm not wearing gloves. I hope he doesn't get into it, though, because it's pretty dangerous.
You'd rather he did something else, maybe channel his energy to something else?
Yeah, something safe like baseball or something,
Yeah, because I did see a post you put up where you were saying that it made you cry, that your son was so excited, he was, shouting at the TV and everything like that. So really cool to see, man. I imagine that, really fills you up, gives you a lot of, I imagine you're already motivated anyway, but I imagine that's just, quite the surge of positive emotions there.
Yes, sir, absolutely, man. Those kids are my biggest motivation. My dad wasn't really in my life growing up, so just seeing the breaking that generational curse and just seeing how my son is with me, it just fills me up, man.
Yeah, I love hearing that, man. And it just seems like a cool journey so far. And as far as this is the third, bare knuckle boxing bout here, what would you say? I guess some of the bigger lessons that you've learned, or even skills you've developed in bare knuckle as you're kind of readying for this fight, relative to when you began your journey, I guess.
So to be honest, my first fight, I was petrified. I didn't know what to expect. But I realized I've been in so many street fights, just growing up in high school and in the streets and stuff like that. I've been in so many that when you have a fight to prepare for, you kind of overthink it. You have months and weeks to prepare, and you're just thinking about that constantly. And it's really not that hard, man. You go there, you put the work in the gym before the fight, and whatever you did before the fight will show in the fight. So I decided to take a break, get my mind right, reset. When I got this offer, I just hit the gym hard, making sure that I'm able to perform at my top ability. And it's really not hard, man. You just got to be the bigger dog in there at the end of the day.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I'm curious, where specifically you might be honing the skills, because I saw in Tapology, I believe it was, that Nashville MMA was the listed affiliation. Is that where you're still kind of honing the skills at, or?
Yes, sir. I'm at Nashville MMA with some great guys, man. Some real hungry guys, and we go in there week in and week out, and we get it in, man. Nashville MMA is the best gym in Tennessee, period.
And do you, I guess, curate your sparring partner dynamics to, I guess, say mirror the body type or even some of the stylistic aspects your opponents bring to the table, or do you just get a wealth of good looks all around and you're kind of adaptable from that?
No, I go in there. I have a saying when I go in there. I'm not a gym bully at all. I respect all my partners. But when it's fight camp, I go in there and I raise my hand before the sparring starts. I say, hey, I'm gonna go hard. All right, I'm not gonna hit you hard, but we're gonna be punching from the time the bell rings to the time, you know what I'm saying? So whoever's up for game, whoever comes to the ring with me, that's who I spar with. Big or small, fast or quick, stuff like that. So I don't really tell to the opponent because, opponents can always change. And it's really not about the opponent. It's about me and what I can do. So.
Yeah, I understand that mentality. So I guess in line with that logic, maybe not a lot of tape study done on Diego Romo here. I guess I'm wondering if maybe you have certain thoughts on his, I guess, better stylistic attributes, or if you're not really focusing on that as much and just you kind of said, focusing on your own refinement more so.
Yes, sir. Of course, I took a look at him. He looks like a big, sturdy guy, but it's not a lot of film, and film can also be deceiving because, guys are learning different things every day. So I'd be a fool to look at a fight he had like 2 years ago and think he's going to be the same person. So I just kind of throw that out the window. I've been to so many boxing fights, MMA fights, that I just really realized the best formula is just to go out there and do me, and it doesn't matter what the other guy does, just do me. I understand if he throws a punch, move out the way, block it. You know what I'm saying? There's not really much you can do in bare knuckle besides punch. So just move out the way when he throws.
Yeah, for sure. And I was kind of going to reference that, actually, like mentioning the wealth of MMA experience you have, and also noticing some gloved boxing bouts and kickboxing as well from what I was seeing. Like, there's some pretty obvious aspects that are taken out from those disciplines, like the grappling's not there and elbows, etc. But like, how many, I guess, transferable skills from, I guess, your previous combat sports can you use to good effect within bare knuckle? Like, it seems like the guys who have the MMA background like really do well in the like active clinch kind of positions and everything.
Yeah, so my first fight, I kind of went in there with like a boxing mindset. It was honestly kind of I wouldn't say boring fight, but it wasn't a lot of action. And David Feldman, he told us all before the fight, this is not boxing, this is a fight. So I'm kind of not going to go in there with a boxing mindset. I'm going to go in there with a straight up fight. Like you got to get this guy before he gets you. My second fight in the BKFC, I kind of wanted to push the pace a little bit more. But I noticed the guy, he was getting tired in between rounds. So I decided to chill back and wait till he got tired and then pursue. But then he caught me with he hit me in the eye, and I wasn't able to continue. So now, then that really pissed me off. So I kind of got a chip on my shoulder. So now I'm really just gonna go in there and from the time the bell rings, man, I'm pushing the pace. It's all about me first, me all the time, man. And I'm gonna just be selfish one time in my life, and I'm gonna show the fans, what they want to see.
That's interesting. So your last fight is giving you like a certain like additional level of motivation in this camp, like maybe come out and show out. I mean, obviously that last performance, like some of the variables, like you said, understandable kind of why it got stopped. But like the chip on the shoulder you have, is that really something that's like benefiting you additionally in this camp, you would say?
Absolutely. I just have so much to prove. I kind of fooled myself thinking I made it, just because I had a fight on the BKFC or two, but I didn't make it. I'm far from making it. I didn't really cement my name. If I stop fighting right now, in 5 years, nobody will be like, oh, you remember Ravon Baxter? So that's kind of just frustrating because I know my potential. Honest to God, everybody says, oh, this sport was made for me. But when I tell you, Mr. Dillon, I've been fist fighting since I was 5 years old. And a lot of people say that. I have videos, you know what I'm saying? I've been fist fighting for as long as I can remember. And the fact that there's a league and an organization that can pay me what I need to take care of my family, to do what I've been doing, it's a blessing, man. So I need to go out there. I need to go out there and focus up and do exactly that. And let this chip on my shoulder, I want to pass it on to Mr. Romo. I want to pass him on the chip. And maybe, he'll get ready for the next guy. But me, it's a done story.
Yeah, and it's cool to see because, I mean, like, I'm not saying this in any way, obviously, but it seemed like the knock for certain people with bare knuckle early on was that it was kind of like guys in, like, the later stages of their career that were doing it. But from what I can tell, you're a younger guy and really have, like, a long career in mind with BKFC. So cool to see that you're part of this, like, I guess, emergent wave within this modern era where you're, like, making this, like, the big career path and, like, you're really wanting to go in that direction. So it's cool to see, kind of represents, like, how the sport is kind of evolving, in a sense.
Yes, sir. It's amazing. It's honestly amazing. And like you said, man, everybody was counting us out, counting BKFC out, telling, it's full of has-been UFC fighters and stuff like that. And just, we got the prospect series now and just a lot of young guys who are just starting. It's really, I'm smiling right now, man. It's amazing to see the growth into the sport. And maybe you have some fighters who just only do bare knuckle. They don't have any other experience. And it also gives us a second chance because MMA, if you haven't been wrestling or grappling since you were younger, you're kind of at a disadvantage, because these guys have been doing seeing Lorenzo Hunt reinvigorate his career, seeing Mike Perry, he could have been swept under the rug, but he reinvigorated his whole career, and now he's the man in the BKFC. And it's just awesome to see. It's really inspiring. And if you got to beat the man, you got to beat the man. So I'm just prepared to beat everybody until they say I'm the man.
Yeah, for sure. And just kind of going off of that thought too, like I'm kind of curious to ask this because I find like a bit of a binary in terms of the, I guess, responses when I talk about this. Like sometimes certain bare knuckle fighters will use like, I guess, specific like hand strengthening kind of techniques, like gripping the sand and, the wooden Muay Thai board kind of work and things of that persuasion. But then there are also guys who are like, I don't do any of that. That doesn't do anything. And they're kind of just like doing their own thing more. So like, where are you at in that? Do you have any certain like hand strengthening techniques you use for bare knuckle or not so much?
Not so much, but and that's a good question because I've been questioning myself like how to prepare for bare knuckle fights, and honestly, you have to be in shape. Cardio, you have to be in shape mentally. You have to be ready to. So sparring is what I do the most. That's the best way to just really replicate what we do in there, and not sparring not like pitter pat sparring. Just really go out there and ask the guy to give you 3 hard rounds and then switch, and get another 3 hard rounds from another person and, so on and so forth. So I don't really focus on like hand strengthening things. I'm just focused on being able to sustain, a certain pace for longer than this other guy.
Yeah, I get what you're, saying in that end. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's like not really a one size fits all kind of approach. Like it's kind of an interesting time in the sport where it's like people are almost figuring out, just what works for them, like their own kind of methodology. So yeah, cool to see just different ideas out there and all.
Yeah, I'm watching all the top guys, and I'm seeing what they're doing. I'm seeing how they fight. I'm seeing how they start the fight, how they end the fight, man. And Lorenzo Hunt, Louis Palomino, guys like that. I just really study these top guys. John Dodson, and they all have a pattern. It's always them first. It's always they always from the gate. They just give it their all, and they've been coming out on top. So I'm just writing down those recipes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, man. You mentioned the importance of sparring, though, and this might sound like a weird question, but I guess I ask this in the context of, like, I'd talked to Reggie Barnett Jr. a few times over the years, and, like, his sparring methodology for BKFC involves him using, like, the 4-ounce MMA gloves more so, but I also know a lot of bare-knuckle boxers who use more, like, Queensbury rules, like, bigger kind of gloves. Like, where are you at in terms of the glove size you use for sparring?
So when I have the MMA, the padded gloves, I don't really feel comfortable throwing those at my teammates at a pace, at a good pace. I'll sling some leather with my big gloves, but the little gloves, those are kind of for like precision sparring. And I do switch it up to when I want to focus or when I get a little bit, at the end of sparring, I'll get a good partner and use the 4-ounce gloves, but I just don't feel comfortable hitting my teammates with those just little gloves. I don't want nobody to get hurt, and I don't want nobody to feel like I'm trying to hurt them. But so I usually use the 16-ounce gloves. That way I can throw power and not really worry about it. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to hurt your teammates because they're on your team and you need them. But I do think that using 4-ounce gloves is a good idea. If I was to go to another gym, I'm definitely bringing my 4-ounce gloves, and it'll be better like to simulate an actual fight with guys like I'm not familiar with. And I thank you for mentioning that. I'm gonna try that out a little bit more, man. I'm gonna use those gloves a little bit more.
Yeah, just kind of a similar thing to the hand strengthening. Just like it's interesting to see some of the different techniques people are using. But I mean, you were talking about studying some of like the higher end guys in the sport and referencing Lorenzo Hunt, a guy who's at the top of your present division right now, just like fighting as a light heavyweight. But the number 1 ranked light heavyweight right now, at least as of this recording, David Mundell, readying to defend his middleweight title in the main event on this card here. Like, what are your thoughts on that David Mundell, Doug Coltrane fight there?
Man, my first fight, me and Doug were in the same corner, and we were just talking about all these different dreams and aspirations we have, and the fact that he's in a title fight right now, and we're on the same card again, it's just like destiny, man. crazy to see. David Mandela, he's a dog, man. He's a good fighter. 7-1, that's his record, I believe. You can't really argue with that. He's a good guy, he's a good fighter. It's going to be a great fight. I'm definitely watching these guys. Everybody's on my radar. And I'm just excited to be a part of this, to see this. But I also have to step back and not be a spectator. You know, I have to understand that I'm in this also. You know, I'm here too. So I'm watching these guys, but I'm right behind them.
Yeah, and just cool to see where you're at now, like an exciting time in the bare knuckle career. But I was also doing a bit of backstory, and seemed like a real kind of like rags to riches sort of story from how you were describing it. Like just some of the anecdotes about like, you know, getting arrested for having a BB gun at like a high school football game, like a couple crazy anecdotes, like just to say that it's cool to see that you're in this position now and, you know, doing great things and everything.
Yeah, that stuff like that is just crazy because that's not even what happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my life has been a movie basically. So it's up to me to decide whether it's going to be a good movie or a bad movie. So, you know, everybody in life has stuff thrown at them. You know, I'm not special, but it's all about how you bounce back. And I just decided, you know, stuff like the BB gun incident, it just made me realize, like, man, you have to really take your life serious because one small mistake, one bad thing, and, you know, you got news articles about you. So I wanted to turn those news articles from bad to good. So that's what I'm doing. And now if you Google me, well, honestly, if you Google me now, it's a lot of, like, fighting stuff. And I was always self-conscious about, like, I'm going to job interviews, and people are, of course, looking at my name and seeing, like, this stupid stuff I did when I was younger. And I'm so glad to be able to have great articles about me, good articles about me. And I'm not done yet, man. I want to really speak. I want to get to a point where I'm so big that I can speak to the youth, and they listen to me. And I want to tell these guys, you know, just take your life serious. You know, you only got one life to live. Take it serious, and it's what you make it.
Well, that was the vibe I got from everything, man. And just I love stories like that. That's awesome because, like you said, it could have easily gone down a bad route, but very much, you know, putting the onus on yourself to have a great story here. I guess one of the last things I kind of wanted to touch on while I have you, I'm always curious about like fighter nicknames, just like the origins and whatnot. Like, where did you get the Big Shot nickname? Like, who gave you the moniker, and where did that come from?
Man, it's kind of funny because, all right, first it was Ravon Baxter, but nobody can ever pronounce my name right. They would call me Raven. And
yeah.
The Ravon and the Don was supposed to rhyme. So I was like, man, I got to change it. And if you look early in my career, I kind of won a bunch of fights in a row. And I was kind of really on a tear. And everybody thought, like, I made it. Everybody thought I was, like, knocking on the UFC's door. People thought I was rich. And they would call me, like, Mr. Big Shot and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I'm broke as hell. You know, I wish. So I decided to change my name I forgot, I think his name was Ryan, somewhere in Missouri. I was like, let me try this new nickname, Ravon Big Shot Baxter, because Big Shot and Baxter rhyme. So I go into the fight, and when I tell you, these announcers did not even call me Ravon, they called me Big Shot the whole time, and I went and finished the guy, and they were just screaming, Big Shot, Big Shot, Big Shot. I was like, yeah, that's it right there. It's stuck. It's stuck right there.
Yeah, I know it works, man. Definitely a certain ring to it, and I feel like it, you know, resonates well in the bare knuckle space for sure. But really appreciate you making some time ahead of what looks like a very exciting fight for sure, man. I guess kind of just putting the ball in your court for a second, though. Like, is there any final parting thought you might want to add as we're kind of wrapping up here, Ravon?
Man, I just want to say thank you to you. Thank you to the whole BKFC community. You know, we're a really tight-knit community, and we're really trying to make this happen. Yeah, I'm gonna just go off the nickname, man. Big Shots. Big Shots is all you're gonna see November 3rd for me, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great night, and really excited for BKFC 53. And thank you for coming on Bare Knuckle Radio and making some time ahead of this Diego Romo fight, man. And just you enjoy the rest of your day, and looking forward to peeping this fight when it goes down, man.
Yes, sir. Tennessee, stand up. We here, boy. Thank you, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, let's get it. I love that. But yeah, looking forward to the fisticuffs in Orlando, and yeah, have a good rest of your day, man. Thank you again.
Yes, sir. You too, my man.
This episode of Bouts Talking Bouts is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Winning parlays, if you're looking for them in BKFC, you got to be checking out BK Bet Shark. Here's the thing. $50 buys, you get a personalized bet slip. It's based on your own budget. You can be flexible. It is what works for you. And this guy's got the receipts. You can check out all the winning tickets. You can peep them, and you can do so at Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Check him out on Instagram and get with it. Got them personalized betting slips going on, $50 buys.